Shocking new revelations have surfaced about one of the most heinous and chilling murder cases in recent years. Today, we delve deep into the disturbing story of Carol and Reggie Sumner. On a seemingly ordinary day, the Sumners' lives came to a horrifying end. But what drove Tiffany Cole, a woman once thought to be innocent, into committing such an unimaginable crime? Stay with us as we uncover the chilling details of the murders, the twisted motives behind them, and the secrets that were hidden for so long. It was July 2005 when Carol and Reggie Sumner, a couple from Jacksonville, Florida, were brutally murdered. The crime was as calculated as it was terrifying. On the surface, nothing appeared out of the ordinary until the Sumners failed to show up for a family gathering. What followed was a police investigation that would uncover a web of deceit, betrayal, and a shocking murder plot. Carol, a nurse, and Reggie, a retired Army veteran, had always been the kind of couple who were well-liked by their neighbors and loved ones. They lived a quiet, peaceful life, but on that day, their lives would end in an unimaginable way. Their bodies were found buried in a shallow grave in the woods, a fate that shocked their community. But what makes this case even more disturbing is the role played by Tiffany Cole, a woman with a dark past. Tiffany Cole's story is one of a young woman with a troubled past. Born into a family marked by instability, she struggled with personal issues from an early age. However, her descent into darkness began to take shape when she met Michael Jackson, a man who would become her co-conspirator in one of the most grisly murders in recent history. Tiffany and Michael were not strangers to crime. Tiffany's history included multiple run-ins with the law, but she managed to convince those around her that she was a victim of circumstances. But what drove her to murder? Was it greed, desperation, or something far darker? Her relationship with the Sumners was not as innocent as it seemed. Tiffany, with the help of Michael Jackson, masterminded the deaths of the couple in a scheme to rob them. But the killings went beyond mere robbery. They were calculated, cold, and brutal. The crime took place in the Sumners' home, a place where the couple was supposed to feel safe. Tiffany and Michael lured them into a false sense of security before executing their plan. The couple was bound, tortured, and eventually killed with no mercy shown. Tiffany's involvement in the crime was chilling. Her calm demeanor and lack of remorse would later be revealed in police interrogations. Michael and Tiffany had planned every detail meticulously. They knew that Carol and Reggie had money, and they believed that the elderly couple would be an easy target. But the reality was far more complex. The Sumners fought for their lives, and their screams for help were never heard. Their murders were the result of a twisted combination of greed and rage. It wasn't until weeks later that authorities began to piece together the truth. Initially, the investigation focused on the possibility of a random robbery gone wrong. But as detectives dug deeper, they started to unravel the connection between Tiffany Cole and the murders. Tiffany's involvement came to light after Michael Jackson was arrested for another crime. Under interrogation, Jackson eventually cracked, revealing the chilling details of the plot. He confessed to the murders and implicated Tiffany as his accomplice. But Tiffany's actions were far more disturbing than just being a passive participant. During the investigation, detectives discovered that she had not only planned the murders but also participated in the gruesome act without showing any remorse. The Sumners' bodies were eventually found buried in a remote area in Florida. The evidence was overwhelming, and Tiffany Cole was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. But even with the facts laid bare, the question remained: what drove her to commit such a horrific crime? Tiffany's motive for the murders was rooted in her desperate need for money. She had been involved in numerous schemes and had a history of using people for her own gain. The Sumners, with their savings and stable life, were seen by Tiffany and Michael as easy targets. But it wasn't just about money. There were other dark forces at play. After the murders, Tiffany Cole's life unraveled. She was arrested and eventually convicted for her role in the killings. The court proceedings were as chilling as the crime itself. As Tiffany's lack of remorse became apparent to everyone involved, Tiffany was sentenced to death in 2008, and her case remains one of the most disturbing in recent memory. The Sumners' family was left to mourn the loss of two innocent lives, while Tiffany Cole's name became synonymous with cold-blooded murder. The murders of Carol and Reggie Sumner are a tragic reminder of how easily trust can be betrayed. The case of Tiffany Cole shows that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places, and sometimes the most shocking crimes are committed by those who seem the least likely to be capable of such horrors. In the end, the Sumners pay the ultimate price for their kindness and trust, and Tiffany Cole's name will forever be associated with one of the most horrifying and senseless acts of violence in modern history. Join us as we continue to investigate cases like this, where the lines between trust and betrayal are blurred and the unthinkable becomes reality. Stay tuned for more shocking true crime stories from Criminal Department.